your face up off the floor.
I started doing it because I was talking with a friend and we were talking about like having a bucket list. And I was like really overweight back then, and we were talking about how we should do a triathlon. Yeah, I got this bike and started biking a lot, and it was a great way for me to lose weight and really got me on a health kick. I started running, doing stuff like that. I've been biking back and forth to work and school. At the beginning, it was really tough because I remember I'd ride my bike for like maybe a mile, and I would just feel completely dead. Like, I would just feel like I'd like accomplished so much, and then I hear other people like riding like 30 or 100 miles and stuff like that, and I was just in shock. But after a while, I got to the point where I could do like 50 miles in one day, and that wasn't that bad. I do that like a couple days a week even. So I was like spending 6 to 8 hours on the bike every week, and it really started to get addictive. That feeling of going fast gets addictive. CBC is awesome. Hopefully, it'll get me some deals on some new bikes and new equipment and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. And also, it's cool just to be around those guys and hear all about what's going on. Having friends to go on rides with definitely makes it a lot easier, and like you really get pretty close. Well, definitely the craziest is Benji. That guy is he's something else. Every single time I see him, like it's always cycling oriented. It was easy to not get out there, but there's a couple days I was out there with my mountain bike in the snow. That's always fun. It's hard to stay up, and then those wheels get really heavy when they start picking up more snow. My goals are for this race season are just to get back in there. Like I was much more fit last year. I felt better last year than I do this year, so I want to lose a bunch of weight again and then start riding more. When I get done with school, it's been a tough semester. That'll be easy to get out there. That's an extra 9 hours a week that I could spend, not in the classroom and out on my bike.
I started riding back in community college. I got a good bike, and I started like riding my bike, so I'm like, well, I'll just ride my bike some more. And I saw all the racers, I'm like, well, crap, I can race. And I started racing, and I met up with the guys at CBC, and they're like, come join the team, and I did. And now I'm a crazy bike racer with shaved legs, which is quite the lady catcher. For my winter training, I like to just get my cyclocross bike and ride on gravel roads. It's nice. It's kind of like riding your mountain bike, but not as scary. And usually we have group rides on the weekends with Dave and Dan and the rest of the CBC guys, and we get entertained by all the stories the storyteller Ethan Fraze talks about. Then in February, we race Froze Toes, aka Winter Worlds. I like to get at least 10 hours in. I've done up to 17 in a week, but that was a really good week where I didn't have I had work and that's it. Before I started riding my bike, I used to be I played rugby, and then before that I played football in high school. So I'm not the typical endurance athlete, I guess. I wouldn't say I am now, but I started out about 240 pounds when I was at my heaviest and chunky. And I've just kind of knocked off a little bit of weight every year, and now I'm in the upper 180s, so hopefully I can keep all that strength. I want to be really awesome in August because it's the state criterium championships, the state time trial championships, Sedalia, Otterville, and the Gateway Cup. When it gets below freezing, it's a little cold, but it beats riding the indoor trainer, watching bike videos all winter because you just it gets boring.
For the level of racing I do, which is top amateur, really need to train probably between 12 and 20 hours a week. For most people, that'd be pretty difficult to do if you have a normal job and then also a family. And typically when people start families, have children, the biking has to go. There just isn't enough time. But that doesn't include, traveling to races. There's some downtime, probably before and after training. The race at the top level, top amateur, it takes a lot of time, and again, most people don't really have it. So probably log about 300 miles a week, and that adds up. You can imagine. I mean, 300 miles a week times 4, there's 1,200 miles a month, and if you're doing that, consistently, was that about 14,000 miles a year, something like that. Some road races can be fairly long, close to 100 miles, but usually under that, and that'll take a good 4 hours of riding. I find it's best to be on a local team because that's the people I train with and hang out with when I can, and travel to races with, and etc. So it's just easier. Yeah. Makes sense. Last year I did quite well. I won the state crit championship and state time trial championship.
All right, well, I'm Dan Miller, and I got involved with the Columbia Bike Club just this past year. In January I joined. Like how the hell do you do all that? And I sleep 8 hours a night and still find time to do it. I guess I don't watch TV though, so you got to give up TV watching if you want to be really active. Okay, before work I'm gonna go ride for an hour and do some intervals, and that's usually what I did, was before work, so that I could be home after work or after school and just spend time with Cassidy and spend time with Maggie. So especially in cross season, all my training was in the morning, and so then cross season went really well, and I went back to that state Cat 3 championship, and this year I got first place in it. So I think one huge confidence booster was CBC, because my team at that point was a total mountain bike and cross team, and I wanted to do some road racing, and so CBC sort of was perfect for that. There's a lot of Cat 1s and Cat 2s here, a lot of experience, Dave and Ethan. As far as experience in this state, I don't think there's many other people in this state that are as experienced as those guys. I wear a Livestrong bracelet, and I have a Livestrong sticker on my bike, and that, it's really significant for me because I've had basically metastatic disease in my body for 5 years, and it's been there and it's not going away. And one of the crazy things was that after cyclocross season in January, I had a radiation treatment, which is just kind of a part of my standard care. It's been how I've been managed. And at that point, we knew that I had some disease in my lungs, so little tiny tumors in my lungs, and I had some disease in my neck, so little lymph nodes that still had metastatic thyroid cancer. That's the kind of cancer I have. I'm young, I'm not the typical person to get thyroid cancer, and my thyroid cancer was bad. It was kind of everywhere as far as lung disease and everything. The first thing was, well, man, existential crisis. I have a 18-month-old daughter, I've been married 3.5 or 4 years, and so it's that's the most important, kind of mellow out with school, but then just figure out what I want to be doing with myself. And it's been kind of a long spring as far as deciding if what I do on a day-to-day basis is what I want to always be doing. And I think at this point, I've been actually really happy as far as having a family and incorporating riding into my life. And like I said, I raced Cat 2 and did really well at the Tour of Herman. Placed 4th in the road race, and I have cancer in my bone and in my lungs. It's crazy. CBC
CBC is awesome.